very, very difficult year for me. Red card, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, what the heck? I was never gonna make it. They put me into my grave. That was a very, very difficult year for me. Very, very difficult. That was by far my most difficult year in Germany. The reason being is because at the beginning of the year, it went really well. You know, we were kind of middle of the table. It was okay for a team that just got relegated into the lower league. And so I was playing, but then our first coach got fired. I say first coach because we had, I think, 3 coaches in the 1 year there. And so
that's always difficult, man. Change of coaches.
Yeah. And so the first coach got fired. And then the next coach came in, and then he was only there for about a month and a half. And then at winter, the next coach came in, and at that point, he kind of always having a new coach, you know, different style of play. Yes. They like certain players and this and that. And
exactly.
I was playing at the beginning when the new coach came in. I then got a red card in one of our games, and I was out for 3 games. And at that point, the club was so angry with me. They put me to the second team, and
What did you do for the red?
There was like an altercation in a game. I pushed the kid. He fell to the ground. But it was one of those moments where
where he takes the dive.
It was like, you know, it was one of, you know,
he pushed his chest, but he held his
I swear, you know, one of those times, you know how many times where people get you you do a little push and whatnot. It was one of those. He throws himself on the ground. Referee comes up, the linesman was like, oh, he pushed him, he did that. And so the referee, boop, red card. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, you know? And then they ended up scoring like 2 minutes later. And so like the club's like, oh, Ryan's fault, you know, it's that. Understandable.
Were you arguing in English or German?
Oh, I was full English at that point. I was pissed off, you know.
Once you start speaking that, it's over.
It was over. So of course, you know, as a player, when you get a red card and then you lose the game, like you feel awful about it, like, you know.
Sure.
And so after the game, I did like a public apology to the team and this and that, and then the next day, the president of the club and like the sport director and everyone like that came into the office and freaked out at us about like how bad of a game it was. And then he was like, he turned to me and he was like, got real mad at me and whatnot. And so then he told me, he was like, okay, for the next 3 games or whatever, as long as you're red card, you're going to the second team. You're not allowed to come into the locker room of the first team and this and that. And so like, I basically was like no longer in contact with all the guys from the first team. And so like, I was just like, what the heck? Like, I've never heard of something like this. And so I took the time and played with the second team, but then I came back after my red card. And at that point I was kind of just like, they were just like, whatever to me. And they had no desire to play me. And I was getting subbed in a few times, like here and there, sometimes wasn't even on the team, sometimes on the bench, this and that. But I think I started maybe in 1 or 2 games after that. And that was it. But then the club went into like a bankruptcy almost. They were like broke. They had like no money. And so at the end of that year, they told 14 guys, including myself, they have no desire to keep us. They can't pay us. And I was told from the coaching staff at the time that I was never gonna make it. And that I was, if I want to play professionally, like I need to, you know, completely change and this and that. And they're like, right now, like you don't have the mentality, you don't have the physical ability. And it was just, they put me into my grave at that meeting. It was one of the worst things ever. And so I was just like mentally like distraught after that. And I was just like, like at this point, like I get told I have an injury at Magdeburg. Go to another team. The other team sends home 14 guys at the end of the year. I get told I'm a bad soccer player and that I'm not going to make it. And that. And then at that point I have no contract because they just sent me home. They're like, even if I'm like, but I have a contract, and they're like, okay, you have a contract, but we have no desire. Like, don't come to training. Like, don't do anything. And so, at that point I was saying, I was almost like, okay, that's it. I'm done. Like I have no desire to to deal with this anymore, and like I can't. I couldn't put up with it, and so.
What's going on? Sorry to interrupt this video. I'm interrupting my quick bicep pump as well, but many of you reach out to me for help. You want a professional opportunity and you want to work with me one-on-one. I can do both. I can get you a professional opportunity. You can work with me one-on-one to get in the best shape of your life, and I could also help you earn some extra cash. What if you could do all three? Get into the best shape of your life, get a professional opportunity, and get a remote job where you can work from anywhere. If you want to do that, hit the link below, fill out the form, make sure you are ready to invest in yourself, and I'll see you there, and I look forward to a nice phone call, a free phone call with you. Make sure to go down the link below, fill out the form, tell me you can invest in your development, and we'll hop on a quick call. See you there.
At this point, my wedding was coming up.
Wow.
With my wife, and so I was like,
was
you know
she
what?
over there? Was she over there, your wife?
During this time, yeah. So she's been with me the whole time, but then during the last month, so when I had this meeting, my wife had flown home to kind of like help prepare for the wedding and stuff like that, and so like I was alone there,
dude,
and so I had like no one to talk to, and so I was just like, my mind was just going crazy at this point, and so then I said,
start talking to the walls, man.
Seriously. And so I just said, I was like, all right, you know what? I'm going to go home. I'm going to enjoy my wedding, this and that. I'm going to, enjoy myself. And then we'll see what happens,
For sure.
Focus on, like going back, focus on the things that I can control. I can't control this. This is already in the past. I can't do anything about it. Might as well just, right now, season's over. I might as well just go home, enjoy myself and, focus on the positive things. And then during that time, my agent was working with, was trying to like get connections and stuff like that. And it was on my wedding day in the morning. I got a phone call from my agent, and he was like, Ryan, I got you a contract with Lok Leipzig for this amount of money, this for 2 years. And I was like, no, I was just like, I literally thought that there was going to be nothing. Nothing. My wedding day, I pick up the phone, I call my wife, and I was like, I have to talk to you. I'm sorry. I have to talk to you. I got to tell you this. So I told her the news. And then it just made the whole day just like so much more special because I it was my wedding day, had the wedding, got the contract. We're going back to Germany where, things are still going to flow. And so I was like, you know what, whatever just happened to me that entire year, we're just going to like, it's in the past now, like just done with it. So I mean, that's the roller coaster right there. That's the roller coaster of emotions you deal with in this game. It's like low, high. Wow. For sure. But the thing is, the city in Stuttgart was actually unbelievable city. It was beautiful.
Yeah,
and the fans in Stuttgart were unbelievable as well. So like, if you think about like the overall situation in Stuttgart was actually really, really nice, and like the facilities and everything like that, and how everything was, it was very, very professional. Being as a fourth league team, it was a very professional atmosphere, and that was one of the big reasons why I was so happy that I got to go there. And the year started out well, but then it ended up really, really bad for me personally. And so, overall, that was one of the most difficult times for sure here in Germany.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, being told that by a coach is just, never fun. But like you said, you just added to that dark side motivation, when you need to prove people wrong.
Correct.
So you said you had a 2-year contract at Lok Leipzig, right?
Yep. Yeah, I got back. Packed my things up, moved to Leipzig, and then had probably the 2 best years that I had in Germany. It was like the highlight of my, it was just now where I'm at right now is the highlight, but like before that was like a big highlight for me. And so
for sure,
the way it kind of like big turning point. Seriously, it was a huge turning point. And like for me mentally, it was just like a relief, and I was just like, oh, finally, like the things that I've been working so hard for are starting to slowly like kind of transition and pay off and everything like that.
Absolutely.
With a position wise, actually, I was playing like in Stuttgart. That one of the things with the 3 different coaches, if you look on Transfer Market and you look up my year at Stuttgart and you look up the positions I played, it's the most absurd thing in the world because I played every single position besides goalkeeper. I kid you not. Every single position. So I was always changing. And so my agent or my coach, he from Lok, he was like, I know that you're kind of more of a defensive player, this and that, where do you see yourself best at? And then I At that point, I wanted to play defensive mid. I wanted to play the 6. And so I told him, I was like, I can play center back, but I feel myself at this, where I'm at right now, I feel currently my best at the 6. And so he was like, okay. And so he tried me at the 6, worked out really well. My first year, I scored, I think 11 goals. 11 goals my first year at the 6 as a defensive midfielder. And then the next year I scored 8 or 9. And so I was like 19 goals total in the 2 years that I had at defensive mid. So it kind of, it worked out really, really well that I played defensive mid, and I was super happy in Leipzig. I was like, overall, everything in Leipzig was like perfect.
Homie, thanks so much for making it to the end of the video. I know I got a nice bicep pump going on. Don't forget what I said at the middle of the video. If you want to get a professional opportunity inside a professional team for at least 10 to 14 days, working with the team, seeing the culture, and getting into the best shape of your life with me, as well as making additional income, getting a remote job so you can work from anywhere. Once again, that's getting a professional opportunity, working with me one-on-one, and making extra cash so you can work from anywhere, no matter where you are in the world. If you want to do that and you want to work with me one-on-one, be mentored by me to make sure you succeed, fill out the link below. Make sure you tell us you're ready to invest, because you have to invest to reach your ultimate potential. Then I'll show you my schedule. We'll hop on a free 45-minute call and see if you're the right fit to work with us. Don't forget to go to the link below, fill that out, and I hope to see you there. And make sure you like this video and subscribe. Deuces.